YouTube. You were gonna hear me yawning a bunch because I finally got a little bit of time to myself. Blake and Basti are doing a baby shower. I have chosen to stay home and finish the insane amount of laundry that you cannot see, but is actually holding up this camera. Well, the phone anyway. I have laundry propping up this phone. Okay? But, yeah, I hope everybody here is good. Just folding some panties. They're not even the sexy kind. These are like my, in case of emergency, take these panties, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I hope you guys are all good. I've been I've mentioned in previous video, or my last video, that I've had kind of a bit of a rough month. Dealing with a lot of stuff with family, and mostly family, a little bit work related, but I'm trying, to get through some stuff. Losing one work opportunity that kind of sucks, but you never know. This is a fickle industry, and things might come back around quicker than you expect them to, but, yeah, I'm good, besides the fact that it's really warm in here, and I'm starting to think that Basti, put the AC hotter before he left, because he's always freezing. This guy is I know the stereotype is that women are always cold, but Basti, I guess he has some kind of circulation issue sometimes. I know he has arthritis, and maybe that's the reason why, and I'm not just, being bastard. But he does have a tendency to, put the AC, way too hot, and I'm I need to be feeling like frost on the tip of my nose when I'm home. So I have a feeling he did that. But it is balls hot right now in LA. So to be fair, it might not be 100% his fault. This building in particular does get very warm. I I like this t-shirt a lot, but this is one of those situations. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen to you. I share, it's a shared laundry room in the building. So once in a while, crap just ends up, laundry gets mixed up, and you end up with somebody else's t-shirt or pants or shorts, and you're like, what the fuck is this? I don't immediately go to accusing my husband. Oh, I'm gonna get it to you, Robert. I want to make sure there's more people here before I start explaining why I feel guilty. So I'm giving you an anecdote about the laundry. But as I was trying to say, my shared laundry room, we sometimes get other people's laundry, and we've ended up with all kinds of weird stuff. Sometimes though, if I like the stuff, and I can't possibly figure out whose it is, I'll keep it, and I do my best to try and see oh, does this belong to you? I think I even say to people, if I'm wearing something that you recognize, please just let me know. But that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is that I'll explain exactly why I'm feeling kind of guilty. There's a few things. One is very juju, if you're not into that kind of belief, I totally get it. It might sound a little crazy. And then another one is legit something I did. Why is there only 2 of us here? I just started streaming, so, sometimes it takes a minute for people to arrive. That's why I didn't want to start talking about my topic first. Dryers, things go missing. I would find huge tidy whities that were certainly not mine in the clothes. Yeah, exactly. I have found, other women's underwear, and I'm, not immediately gonna go, Bastion! I wouldn't, I'd be like, who the fucks are these? Not that I'm gonna use those. Those I won't steal. But anyway, I was showing you that shirt because forever and a day I thought that t-shirt was one of these things. Yeah, the algorithm's a total puta. One of these things was mine. Sorry, what was I saying? Blah. Words, go back to normal. One of these t-shirts was one of these things that I think belonged to, maybe an ex-neighbor, and they left it there, and I liked it, so I kept it. And I kept wearing it, I've been wearing it for 3 years now. And finally, I went to Disneyland, or Disney World, and I put it on, and I was there with my freaking dad's girlfriend, and she's like, oh, I had that same shirt, but I haven't been able to find it in a while. And I was like, holy crap, mystery solved, you are the owner of the shirt. And I felt really guilty, and she's like, no, you can keep it. I honestly didn't even like it that much. But I was trying to offer her to pay the shirt and stuff, but she wouldn't take it. But, oh my god, I have sweaty sweaty behind the knees. I gotta cool this down. Guys, you're coming with me. We're gonna go see if the air conditioner is on the way it's supposed to be. You can see my lovely pile of clean laundry. God, I've done like 3 bags of this stuff. I also have 2 new little bird friends because, like, I didn't learn my lesson with the few who've died and flown out on me. Where do all the missing socks go? I have no idea, but let me introduce you to, well, these 2 new ones. You can see Fogel on the side there. She's actually behind the water. There she is. But these 2 new ones are 2 new boys. The darker one, his name is Ra, like the sun god. Basti named that one. And then I named the one that's kind of partially white with the white head, Angel. They should both be boys, but I'm starting to think Angel might be a girl. Yes, I know I've become a bird lady. Bitch! I saw you peck him. She is... You can't see her that well. She is mean. She's mean. I see you. Fight back. You guys have numbers. Anyway, what was I doing in here? Besides, I was craving a sandwich, but no. I'm actually going to talk to you guys about the reason I feel so damn guilty. All right, like I said, first reason seems kind of dumb, but I swear I can't stop thinking about it. I've been trying to, like I said, stay pretty wishy-washy about the situation, but I have a situation with a cousin of mine. I brought this person up on my YouTube channel before because they were so, they basically found all my most raunchiest videos that I've ever made and then posted them all over my mom's Facebook wall. This was at the same time during when my grandmother was dying. It was like a shit show, okay? Let me just say that. It was not pleasant. I need some water. I see I'm already overheating. And the whole point of me going down there was not to show you the birds. It was to check on the AC. I already forgot. Damn this ADHD. Anyway. So, me and this cousin were kind of raised together. We are related by blood, but I think our grandmothers, the way we're related is our grandmothers are sisters. But, her parents were kind of teenage parents, and her mom is a total piece of shit, even when she was a teenager. And long story short, she got somewhat, I would say, adopted. She wasn't exactly adopted. Her legal guardianship was changed to my grandparents when she was 4 years old because, I think, it wasn't CPS at the time. I think it was called something else, Family Something Services. They were involved, and it was a whole mess. Anyway, so she gets raised by my grandmother and grandfather. And as I was often at my grandmother and grandfather's house, and we're pretty close in age. She's 4 years older than me. We've had always an interesting relationship. We, would play together as kids, but we fought the crap out of each other as kids. One of my teeth is half fake because me and her got into a fight when we were young. And it was, I admit, a difficult situation for her because, she wasn't really with her parents. My grandparents were older. She was kind of almost like the adopted younger sister of my mom, but at the same time, she was closer in age to me, so it's not like I'm ever going to see her as an aunt or figure or anything like that. We kind of always had a little bit of a rivalistic relationship, let's just say. And, we just antagonized each other, but I think deep down, we've always loved each other, I thought. Until, my grandmother passed away. I mean, there was things going wrong with her for a while. But, I mean, I have no nicer way to say it, but, she's just, not in a good place. Not mentally, not physically. Everything has just gone very badly for her. She also has 2 kids, and I don't even know, how much of this I wanted to bring in. But, I started to get this feeling, there used to be this rumor in my family. This is why I say it's going to sound really juju-y. There used to be this rumor in my family that when somebody would do something mean to me, that, I would curse them or some shit. And I was like a witch. We're Latin, so this is real shit that they used to think about me when I was a kid. It wasn't too antagonistic, except for the Jehovah's Witnesses in my family. They totally thought I was an actual witch. Yeah, I know, Robert, that, it's not, I shouldn't blame myself. But I don't know. I started to think as my cousin's life has fallen further and further and further apart, I'm like, what if I accidentally cursed her? And I didn't think I did, but she was such a dick to me when we were young. And after that whole shit went down at my grandmother's funeral, some like big shit went down. It just was an explosion of shit went down. All right, like that's all I could say. It was insane. I've never You're my favorite witch. Thank you. Um, but yeah. Anyway, this rumor in my family like still exists to this day. Like they really like a few members of my family really think I'm a witch. Like I said, they're Latinos. We have our things. We have our crazy weird beliefs. Um, and like I started to think, I was like, and everybody obviously has told me, Stephanie, you did not curse your cousin. Don't be ridiculous. One, you don't have that ability because that's dumb. And two, you didn't actually curse her. Like even if you did, which you don't, her life fell apart because I mean, I'm not gonna pretend there wasn't unfortunate circumstances. This is why, like, this whole thing of like people who give birth to kids that they really don't want to have, or they have no regard or real love for in that way. I mean, I can't. It's just pretty horrible, like to think that, like I said, she got taken away. Basically, she was about to be taken away by the state. Um, circumstances because there's oh, sorry, Robert. I was just like skimming yours. But yeah, this like, and I've been feeling guilty about it lately. I was like, what if I accidentally cursed my cousin? Maybe I was literally Googling. This is how crazy I got, right? In the middle of the night, I'm like, I was Googling like, shamans and shit. And I was like, there's got to be one out here in LA. There's got to be dozens of them. This is like hippie town. I need to find one of these people so I could undo this curse. Thinking I really had to freaking find some stuff to undo a curse. And then my cousin would get better. Sounds nuts, but I had a whole freaking moment of it. Like, even me saying it, I was like, Jesus Christ, Stephanie, what the hell? Like, you need to take a fucking break. But guilt was used on me as a teen. It will no longer have power over me. Look, I understand that. And to be honest, we are heavy guilters. Like, my family, like, that is a strong weapon we use. And it has gotten used a lot in my family. And oh God, I think that's why like some things are just going so nutty. So like that's been giving me like a ton of stress lately. This whole thing going on with my cousin and like, my whole family, they're all trying to like intervene or figure out what's wrong with her. Like I mean, they know what's wrong with her. It's just like it's just been a big thing. Maybe the placebo effect will work, except for the crystals if it helps you do better. Yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. The weapon I favor is love, and I use it often. Thank you, Robert. We are like I was lucky enough. I don't want to say lucky enough, but I have a friend who was a recovered addict, and he did give us like strong advice, especially to my family, about going into this process with my cousin with love and open arms and being ready to help her. And I'm not in Miami right now, so I don't have to be involved in a lot of the bigger things that are going on with that side of stuff. And in a way, I feel guilty. So that's number one, how I feel guilty. I'm not there to like do this stuff. And like my grandfather just had his 93rd birthday, and I couldn't go, even though, I wanted to. How many more birthdays does this 93-year-old man possibly have? And, my whole family was there, minus a couple of us that don't live in Miami anymore. But number three, and this one's been, okay, kind of killing me lately. But it wasn't kind of. Okay, let me explain what happened. I don't know if anyone's ever had one of these things. Is that the grandfather that has the cool stories? No, Robert, he passed away. That, the one I put up is Can't Find Grandpa. That's Jack, Grandpa Jack, and he died about 3 years ago. He passed away. And yeah, that sucked because he died right at the beginning heights of COVID, and it was really shitty. I think he died April 2020. Now this is my Cuban grandfather. So the way I always explain it is I have three grandfathers. I have my biological paternal grandfather, which is where I get my last name from. He was murdered. And like I could laugh about it because I didn't really know him, but like, I'm not even laughing about it because like I find it funny. I just find it incredibly awkward to bring up. Though me and my dad did have this joke. I know he used to have a brothel, and me and my dad found like the old building, and we're like, Dad, you and I have to take a picture in front of the building, which is now a furniture store. But I'm like, we gotta take a picture of what was Grandpa's brothel. Like that's family history. Yes, but he died kind of a gruesome death. And I never got to know him because he died before I was born. And at the time, my grandmother was already, they had gotten divorced. So my grandmother was seeing someone else. And this was my grandpa Jack, who's the one who said all the great stories. He was a World War II vet. He was from Tennessee. But no, he was an original Floridian, but he was raised in Tennessee. No, he was in Florida for a long time because he has the old Florida stories. Then he went to Tennessee as a young man. I know that he was in the military because he was there during World War II. And then, yeah, and he was an airplane mechanic. That was his job until he retired. But yeah, as far as I grew up with him thinking he was my grandfather. Like, I knew he wasn't my blood grandfather, but like I called him grandpa. So to me, he's grandpa. And then grandpa number 3, which is the only one still left alive, I just call him my abuelo because he is my abuelo. We never speak English to each other. We only speak in Spanish. He will speak some English when you like really push him to, and he'll speak English to Basti. Basti's like one of the only people he bothers with because Basti doesn't speak Spanish, and he does try and communicate with Basti. Um, so yeah, that was the whole thing. But then let me continue with the actual thing happened. So I have a stepfather, and my stepfather married my mom. I think when I was like 9, or yeah, about 9, and we had a bit of a rocky relationship when I was growing up, like probably till I turned 18 and I left the house. And then ever since then, we actually got along great. We just couldn't live together, and that's fine. Those type of relationships are crazy complicated. I think people like get married and try to blend families like really quickly without any thoughts or planning. There's a lot to that. Then we did the best we did. I've always thought my stepfather like loves me. I know he loves me, and he always loved me when I was young too. But it was just, how would I say this? So this is what I learned about my stepdad. My stepdad was like, I think he said that either he forged his dad's signature or the second he turned 18, he joined the military. So, and it doesn't seem like the man he called father like has never really appeared in our lives since I've known him. And I've known him since I was like 8. And I'm 36. So like, who are these people? We don't know anything about them. I know that he has 2 brothers that live somewhere. And he had a grandfather who was in the Philippines. And the person on my stepdad's birth certificate, well, his country of origin says Malaysia. Except there is one giant glaring issue with this. And that is that my stepdad is a fat white man. And I mean white. As in like, now he's all silver. But he was a blonde, blue-eyed person. Now he still has blue eyes. And he's, a big guy. So when they say that, your dad is a skinny tanned Asian man, something just wasn't adding up. Like, we kind of always said that because he has 2 brothers. He has one older brother and one younger brother. And the 2 brothers look Asian. And then he's, like, white as can be. But to make this story, my stepdad's story is just fucking tragic. All right. So, these 2 people were married. This white lady and this apparently Asian guy. They were married and had 3 children. Obviously, something weird's going on here. Then, during a divorce, at which point my stepdad was 4, their father grabbed the 3 kids and then took them to the Philippines where his family was. And she couldn't go follow them, and apparently they were kidnapped, and da-da-da-da. So and not only, Dad doesn't even stay there. He leaves his 3 sons with his grandfather, a Filipino man, to raise his kids, and just disappears, dips out. So my stepdad was raised from the age of 4 to like 14 in the Philippines, thinking he was half Filipino. All right? And he speaks Tagalog. If you see my stepdad, this white man speaks Tagalog because he was raised out there. Then I guess his dad finally comes back, picks up the 3 kids, and takes them to California. And I don't know what the hell happened between age 14 and 18 or 17 or whenever the hell my stepdad joined the military, but that relationship, we have never heard anything from those people like in decades. So we don't know anything about this. So fast forward. My sister, like, I thought it would be kind of funny to go get ourselves an ancestry.com test for my sister. I had already taken one. And this was before you could see what parents, now they split in half and they'll tell you what you got from each side of your family. They didn't have that back then. So I thought, hey, we have different dads, me and my sister. So we could kind of like compare results and see what's from what. So sure enough, there was also the possibility that maybe the Asian thing was there because my sister came out like really skinny and she's short And my brother is also, well, now he's a little chubbier, but he was super skinny too, and he was like tanned. Like my brother has a tan. Some people in my family just naturally tan very easily though, because we're Hispanic. Again, I bring that up. Um, so we do the ancestry.com test, and we bring, results come back. There is no Asian in my sister. None. 0%. And I'm like, oh, but there's a lot of like Norwegian, Swedish, like a lot of white people is what we could say. At least, more so than me. And then she, of course, has the same size as me. We both have a lot of Spanish in us. So, and some Ashkenazi Jew. You can get dark from the Cherokee. Oh, I tan insanely easily, and I avoid the sun at all costs. But anyway, that was, so my stepdad now comes to the glaring fact that, the person he thought was his dad is not his dad. Okay. And this all happened because I bought this stupid fucking test, thinking it would be funny. I mean, we always used to joke about the fact that he didn't look Asian, but holy shit, glaring in our face. But it gets crazier because my stepdad, like a few decades ago, maybe like 20 years ago, about 20 years ago, he found his biological mother. Except it totally did not go well. Like, the meeting just wasn't very productive and was weird. And, my stepdad, they just did not hit off in a relationship. And then his mom died. And you know how he found out his mom died? Because his half-sister called him to tell him that he wasn't getting anything in the will, so don't bother contesting it. That's what he got. That's how he got told his mom died. And ugh. So then, further down the line now, as my sister is sitting there on freaking whatever ancestry.com, she notices, or she gets a ping that so one of these relatives, I don't know if she's got a message or she messaged a person, oh yeah, they had the same grandfather. My sister discovers she has a first cousin that is from Arkansas. They're like, who the fuck are these white people from Arkansas? So my sister then reached out and me like, hey, look, it shows we have the same grandfather. Hi. Like my stepdad has had some issues finding his dad and da 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 da. So, long story short, now we found who should be his father. Except this man is dead now. This man died in the early 2000s. So that sucks. Number one. Number two, my stepdad now finds out he has a brother and a sister. And his brother was older than him, and his sister was younger than him, which means he was the product of an affair. And this woman who is the wife is still alive. And extra cherry on the sundae, his brother, my stepfather's now brother that he found, has died in the last year. So, just like a bomb. And now, my poor stepdad, he has been feeling like shit for weeks and weeks and weeks. Because, he reached out to this family, hoping that they actually, wanted to get to know each other. Because he's always had this problem where his family, the people he thought were his family, they have abandoned him left, right, and center, or shit has not gone well with them. And I feel shitty because, but I don't blame these people. Basically, the person who is my stepfather's sister, who is still alive, explained that, look, my mom is still alive, and she's very ill. And if we bring up the fact that we found out that, dad had a fucking affair baby, this might kill her. So, for now, we're just gonna have to, leave it be and not really stay friends or not really stay in touch or any of that shit. And now my stepdad's really upset. And he's sad. And he feels obviously abandoned again by the various shitty people in his family. And, but he has, obviously, we try to make it feel better. I don't want to, belittle his pain by saying, but you have us. I mean, I did tell him. I was like, look, I am not your blood relative, and I am your family. Blake calls you Pop. She thinks you're her grandfather, and in fact, you look more like her grandfather than her actual grandfather on account of that my dad is so goddamn brown. But, I feel now he's all sad and mopey and shit, and I feel like a dick because I was the one who bought the goddamn ancestry test to begin with and set this whole ball in motion, all based off the fact that we kind of joked about the fact that he didn't look Asian at all. Goddamn. So now I'm exhausted by this whole experience. I hope I lowered the AC because I have built up a sweat just explaining this story. But yeah, that's why I've been feeling so guilty lately, because this whole debacle has come rolling this way again. And I've just been like having, I guess you could say, just some family issues. I mean, hi, Shadow Deist Gaming. On the plus side, I have 2 things coming up that I'm really looking forward to. Potentially 3, but we'll see about number 3. Number 1, at the end of the month, I'm doing one of these bucket list things that I've had on my list forever and ever and ever and ever, and I'm totally going to put up videos of it when I get to do it. I just need to buy a new GoPro or something like a GoPro, because for the amount of money I'm spending on this damn trip, I might as well get a GoPro because I really want to, like, show it. And that is, I'm doing a great white shark cage dive. Something changed me. I have the AC on, but only enough as far as I'm affected. Man, I get sweaty really easily. But anyway, yes, as I was saying, I am going at the end of the month on a great white shark cage dive. It's out of San Diego, and I'm just super excited to show you guys when I do it. And it's the last week of July. No, say the last week of July. Anyway, the point is, it's going to be awesome, and I'm like really excited. I'm also super terrified because along with like loving great white sharks, because I think they're so beautiful and they're majestic and all this stuff, I'm also kind of terrified of them. And I keep having a reoccurring nightmare of drowning, and I see the silhouette of a giant ass shark in front of swimming atop me, you know, from me to the surface as I sink downwards. But assuming none of that's going to happen, I am really excited to go on this great white shark dive. And like, it's just, you know, it's just one of these things I've always wanted to do. And I'm checking it off my list. I'm going alone because Basti chickened out. Also, he didn't want to spend the money, which I guess that's fine. It's not his dream. And he's like, oh, go there and find some shark enthusiasts to go with you. You know, have a good time. I will watch Blake for the next 5 days. You know, so that's happening. But, oh yeah, and then we're going for about 3.5 weeks. From mid-August to September, we will be in Germany. We might be taking a couple trips. There's a clip from Australia, Newcastle shark jumping out of the water. It was so big, you should check out the clip. It's got like 1 million views. I will totally check that out. I'm a little bit shark obsessed. You know, I do really, really like them, like a lot. I like painting of them. I had like the big shark head that used to be in all my videos. That was like my, Basti got that to me as like a birthday gift one year, and I loved it. It was just so awesome. I'm a sharkophile. I do love them, except for that horrible documentary. There's this documentary sitting on Disney Plus, and it was gross. It felt so voyeuristic. I'll explain what it's called. It's called 50 Shades of Shark. Like, on Disney Plus, there is a documentary called 50 Shades of Shark, and it's all about the different types of sharks and how they bone each other. And of course, the whole documentary is just sharks fucking. And like, it's weird. I don't like watching sharks fuck. I admit it, I'm not into it. It was not something I needed to see in life to appreciate sharks. Oh, I couldn't watch it. It was literally one of the only shark documentaries where I was like, I can't watch this. This is fucking gruesome. Yeah, it's also, shark penises are weird. So, yeah. And then, if we have some time between when I come, either before I go on this trip or after, and before we go to Germany, me and Basti are going to get the van ready, and we're going to take a little trip up to Yosemite, assuming it's not on fire. I did an ancestry DNA test years back, discovered loads of relatives in Canada. Also found my ancestors were on the 3rd ship to go to America. Do they meet on Finder? Finder. Finder. Cute. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I'm excited for all these things, and it's the getting closer to that period is also like helping me, like, you know, get out of this dreary mess I was in for the last couple of weeks. One of the things I'm glad to do is, you know, come back on YouTube, and, you know, I probably will start potentially just reviewing Indian movies, because I'll have, you know, I did one review of an Indian movie and it got me the most views I've gotten in months. So guess what? Like, and those Indian people were nice enough to leave me lists of stuff that they said to review next, and I just might. Anyway, what mess? What mess? Isn't there are many eyes in India. I know they have a very large demographic of people to watch, who might watch you. Um, I mean, they were the first to take over. T-Series was the first to take over PewDiePie back in the day. Jesus Christ, it's warm in here. I was gonna bring up something else, and I completely my brain went. Besides the fact that, I've mentioned a couple times that I do have ADHD, and obviously, if you're listening to me just talk live or in any of my videos, people are like, "Oh, are you drunk? What kind of drugs are you on?" Blah 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 blah. Like I get teased a lot from the way my stream of conscious way of speaking happens. That is because I have ADHD. Now I might actually. Oh, you have that too? Yeah, I haven't had any medication for it yet. I do take medication for my anxiety, but not for the ADHD because basically my psychologist said we can't give you any stuff for the ADHD until we get your anxiety under control. And knock on wood, my anxiety seems a lot better. ADHD is not rare in women. It's actually just very hard to diagnose. A lot of women have it. The problem is the symptoms are very different in men and women, especially. Well, what I'll say is boys and girls, and girls are much better at masking it. I don't know why, but there have been a lot of studies about that because they would have never caught that I had ADHD. I didn't realize the possibility that I might until I got to high school. The reason why it was so hard to diagnose me was that I was a good student. Like I was a pretty good student and I got good grades and I got a scholarship and I was in like AP and honors classes. So why would they ever think I had ADHD? They just said I was a bit squirrely. All right. Stephanie, she's known for being kind of wacky and weird and a little off there, but I was known for being kind of bouncy and stuff. They're like, it's funny because I talked to my friend who had come to LA recently, and I told him since the last time I'd seen him, which was a few years ago, I was like, oh, I finally got diagnosed with ADHD, and he's like, you doubted for 1 second you didn't have that. So I think it's something to do with men's left half of the brain lets them hide it better. I don't know, honestly. I just know that when I brought it up, like my mom also completely dismissed it. I was like, hey, because I look when I started to realize I had a lot of the symptoms. It took a while. It took a while for me to figure it out. I was just thinking, I was like, why does it feel like my brain's on cocaine, but like all the time sometimes. Except I'm not always happy. Not like when I'm on cocaine. No, I don't do that stuff anymore. I'm a grown up now with responsibilities. I don't do anything unless it's from Mother Earth. Or I have to schmooze with some huge ass producer because I have told my writing partners, I go, look, I don't really want to do blowover again, but if there's ever just some giant party and some fucking rich ass producer who's ready to throw down millions of dollars at a project says, do a line of blow with me, I will be sitting right next to him and hoovering that shit right the fuck up. Taking one for the team there. But ideally, it will not come down to that, and I don't need to do that anymore. Plus, I'm terrified of this stuff out here. A lot of people die of fentanyl overdoses because they've been I guess cutting the coke with fentanyl out here, and a few people have died. God, I find my gray hairs all over myself now. I like it. The cool thing is that the blue, I've been able to dye my grays blue because I bleached it also, but it's also covering the grays. So, but yeah. Now that I've shared with you guys all the stuff that's happened, I feel a little bit better. Oh, I did my last live stream, which I ended up deleting. That is the issue, everyone, because it makes it so cheap. Masking is the jargon. Yeah, well, it's hard to explain ADHD masking. Oh yeah, that's what it is. I seem very shy when people first meet me. I seem very, very shy and quiet. And then after the first time you meet me, I'll be like, I could talk and talk and talk and talk. But, so one of the things I talked about in my last live stream, but I deleted it, was that I found out that I was possibly, obviously there's many steps to this, possibly going to be hired to write a certain movie franchise reboot, and unfortunately this was the thing that I was too late on and that I said I failed in my previous video, and I was so upset, but at the same time I felt good that I was even being put forth as a possible writer. The swirlies from Doug, oh my god. Meet people. I'm actually thinking of meeting more people, but I don't have time. even this right now is like this is a very scheduled period of my time because Blake is not here. Because the kid is a total nudist. And the other reason I don't do a lot of live streams is because Blake just loves to take off all her clothes and run around naked. And I'm always scared, like, I can't have that happening in the background. I'll get a community guideline strike for sure. And I don't fuss, who would want that? Like, no, you can't see my kid's little naked butt running by. Um, Ice cream is overrated. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Mr. Swirlies. Yeah, that was the. But Mr. Swirlies comes in the second season, right? Because the first one, or not second season, that was the Disney version. See, I know way too much about cartoons. What's going on? You don't normally do lives. I said I explained the story of my stepdad, and like I just was feeling guilty about it, the whole freaking shebang. Um, but like I said, I felt better now that I've actually let it all out. But yeah, a reboot. I don't even know if I could tell you guys what the reboot was. I mean, maybe if like the person was gonna hire me told me what it was, but it's. I'll give you like a very strong hint. It's a reboot. I didn't get the job anyway, unless I come back. Oh, you don't know. Hollywood's a weird place. But it's a reboot of a raunchy teen comedy from the late 90s into the 2000s that was a franchise. And they are thinking of rebooting it. And I was a potential person to write this movie. And I think I would have been great at writing this movie. I cannot deny or say yes to any of the guesses you have. But it's not that hard to figure out which movie it was. Which series of movies it was, and this was going to be a reboot of that series. My hope would be that, like, the second that there was like a black or woman as the lead, black person or woman as the lead, that, the quartering would immediately make a video like saying it's woke now. And I'd be like, I finally got you, bitch. No, that'd be my whole goal, right? No. Yeah, I think Cruel Intentions, no. I said teen comedy. Cruel Intentions, not a teen comedy. Damn, but Cruel Intentions did have a crappy sequel, Lane. When I was diagnosed at ADHD at 12, turns out I was bipolar. I found that at 20. Oh, there's a lot in common. Yeah, I'm sure there is because you get a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. I make some jokes sometimes with my writing partners where Disney's Doug versus Nick's Doug. I know people hate Disney's Doug. Like, some people really hate Disney's Doug, and I never hated it. I thought it was fine. It was a little different, but I mean, the kids were getting older. The funny thing was, everybody told me, like, everybody has this idea that Doug was going from middle school to high school. And I'm like, no, Doug was not going from middle school to high school. Doug was in elementary school in the Nickelodeon version, even though we think he's older because he's crushes and stuff. But no, he was in elementary school. He also had a hell of a deep voice. And then he was going to middle school in the Disney version. They even called it BB Bluffs Middle School. Daria, no. It's a movie. Number one, it's a movie. Number two, I said raunchy teen comedy. Daria was not raunchy. It was funny, and it was very clever, and I wish, like, that would be another one that it would be good for me to write. I didn't know you wrote movie scripts. I'm actually trying to write scripts now. Do you have any advice? Oh, man. It's not Animal House. Animal House did not come out in the 90s. Are you subscribed to How to ADHD? I'm going to check it out. Clueless? No. If I could give you advice on, like, writing, so much, like, sit down, young man. Okay, my first bit of advice, talking of Disney's Mickey Mouse is public domain shortly. They're going to fight that shit. Disney will fight. They have changed. Every copyright law has been led by their changes. So, I would be shocked if they don't manage it again. Disney is a very influential company. What was I going to say? Oh, someone was asking a question. I've lost it. Let me go back to Disney. No, Clueless, ADHD. No, it's not. Oh yeah, what I was going to say about Animal House. Animal House is not Animal House because Animal House was from the 80s, wasn't it? I know Porky's was filmed in my my mother's high school because it takes place in Miami. And Porky's was filmed, a large part of it was filmed between two high schools. I will not say anything to that dead owl, just so you know. Critical Drinker is a writer that does movie reviews you write down. I watched Critical Drinker. And I like him, and I think he's very funny. But I do sometimes find that he gets a little bit too on his own political trail. Like, he's one of these people who, like, oh no, there's a black person, and she's like, oh, or a white feminist. Are you going to watch the Resident Evil TV series? I heard it was terrible. Uh, um, anyway, good guess. Is it Dead Owl? I'll just say that. Good guess. I can't confirm or deny nothing. Yes. Thank you, Create India. Were you one of these people who came from the fact that I did that RRR review? I was saying I'm gonna do more Indian content reviews. I've been given a lot of stuff on the comments to that video to watch, and I've always enjoyed Indian stuff. I'm trying to advise in script writing, but more people are concerned trying to figure out what movie series it is. Okay. Oh, thank you. So Firespawn, you want to like this is okay. One, John August is a Lance Reddick has me interested in the RE show, even if it's bad. I just don't have time for like things that I won't love right now because I'm just so like were they the National Lampoon movies? No, I've been following you since Rick and Morty reaction. I love Rick and Morty. I've got to go back. Somebody asked a question that I didn't like. The advice for script writing. Okay. Listen to John August's podcasts on script writing. I think it's called Screen Notes or Script Notes. He has hundreds of them. Hundreds of like these podcasts, and they are one of the best things you can listen to. Though I don't agree with everything he always says. But he's far more famous than I am. Has anyone said Porky's? I said it's not Porky's. It's not Porky's. Somebody made a guess that's pretty close already, is what I'll say. One of the guesses thus far was pretty close. But the point is, I didn't get the job, but I should have gotten the job because I would be fucking great at that. I write raunchy comedy fantastically. People always think I'm a dude. But yes, screenwriting. Yes, listen to John August's podcast. Save the Cat. Get that book. It's a very good book. Goldstein, I think, wrote it. He wrote, like, I don't know, even want to tell you how many dozens of famous movies that guy wrote. And Save the Cat, and there's tons of them. Write it anyway and send it in. It's not so easy as that. It was going through a producer who is someone I know, and me and my writing partners just did not have enough stuff. Thoughts on R. Kelly getting 30 years? I don't know. Like, R. Kelly seems to have made a cult. So what's that like to give you? I mean, a lot of cult leaders become total psychopaths and eventually start murdering people. You know? Look at that fucking guy in Texas. Which one in Texas, to be honest? Waco. Was it Waco? Yes, that was Waco. Or the other one in Guyana who fucking was it Children of God or some shit? You know, the one who gave everybody poison Kool-Aid. I forgot his name. No, I sometimes say, what's your thoughts on Ezra Miller? He's a sick fuck. What else? Like, Chris Stuckman got a movie from doing his movie reviews. I know, and I followed his movie, and horror is also one of these things that's a little different, and it's a little hard. It's easier to get into horror. I actually know someone who's got a horror movie being produced by, like, a significant... Jim Jones, thank you! A significantly connected producer, like several producers. It made a few of the tabloids of the industry, of the film industry, that he got this deal. I don't know if you guys have seen it. He did a what's it? See, my whole brain is like, I just keep forgetting. That's part of the ADHD that really sucks. Oh, Animal Crossing. He did a parody of Animal Crossing. Thank you, Jonestown Massacre. Horror movies can be made with a lot lower budget. I know. So this guy did a horror parody of Animal Crossing, and it got a bit of buzz, and it got into South by Southwest, and he got a movie deal from that. And I know him, so it's like I want to say I'm disconnected to everything. I used to have a crush on him. He was cute. Guys, turned me crazy. Ezra Miller is like one of these people who wasn't. He reminds me a lot of what's that other guy? See, my brain is just gone. He reminds me a lot of, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. The guy from Even Stevens. I need to have like I usually will look on my phone, but I'm using my phone. Thoughts on Amber Heard? Total bitch. A total liar. Liar and a bitch. Um, I don't know. As someone who's gotten like a glass thrown at their head by their fucking abusive ex, I think she's an asshole cunt. Everything. I don't think that Johnny Depp was an angel by any means. And I'm sure that they fucking fed into each other's come mientería, we say in Spanish, but I'm not gonna defend that one. Are you a fan of Bill Hicks? I'm sure that I've heard his like stand up before. Like from back in the day, but I can't remember any of it. But I have heard like his CDs used to make it around my high school when I was younger. Um Shia LaBeouf, that's who I was thinking of. That reminds me, Ezra Miller reminds me of Shia LaBeouf, which is one of these people who kind of like probably got famous when they shouldn't have. And then things got a little screwy, and I'm sure that there's some probable familial things that have gone all bonkers in their head, but it's turned them into a psychotic dickbag. And Ezra fucking DMing fucking kids and shit. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. He, she, whatever the fuck they want to be. I don't care. Piece of shit in my book. Piece of shit. All right. I don't like Ezra Miller. I say this as someone who doesn't give half a fuck about the CW's Flash, but they should have just gone with the CW's Flash. Oh yeah, Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. I said that they should make like a Legion of Doom, and everybody's like the Legion of Doom is like Kevin Spacey, Kanye West, Ezra Miller, and Amber Heard. Like, why? Maybe Will Smith will be in there. Why does Hollywood make some actors crazy? Whoa, that is a very complicated question, and I don't know if I'm the one able to answer it. I mean, I know people in Hollywood who are not crazy. Quite a number of them. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Same thing happened to Drake Bell. Oh, yeah, he went all bonkers in freaking Mexico, didn't he? Hello. Is you drunk? No, I'm not drunk. I have explained this. I have ADHD. This is just the way I speak. Yeah, trying to get job security playing Reverse Flash. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I was talking about the CW Flash, but they should have just gotten that actor. Who gives a shit? They're like, oh, no, we want to make a new guy. I'm like, why? This guy obviously has already a following, but they never, ever want to bring the CW shows into, like, I guess, the mainstream DC, that horrible DC universe that they were trying to make. But, yeah, just crazy stuff. Anyways, I thank you guys all for joining me. I think I'm going to finally make that sandwich I wanted. I did lower the AC, and I've explained why I feel guilty. I'm feeling better, though. Though I just want my stepdad to feel better. WB has weird contractual stuff using characters in their different shows. Ah. But, yeah. We should chat like we were going to. Yes, I am back. Hello. Yeah, like I said, I have to go now because what's going in the sandwich? Turkey and lettuce and mayonnaise and salt and pepper. Why do celebrities ruin their careers? Cuban sandwich? No. Celebrity, man, it's a weird thing, celebrity culture out here in LA, because you're right in it. And, like, they're also just kind of there, and I don't really notice. I'm like, okay. Like, I am so face blind, I can't spot celebrities. But there's this thing about being in LA that I never got anywhere else, which is they expect you to be in the industry, and you're in the industry, regardless. I mean, I am because I write, and that's part of being in the industry. But, like, people saw my daughter, and they're like, oh, does she have an agent yet? And I'm like, does she have an agent yet? I didn't say my kid wanted to act or do anything. I mean, she probably will because she's a fucking performer. I could tell already. She always runs on here when she can. But I'm also very skittish about going down that road. But at the same time, I want to support my kids, so it's like a weird place to be. All right, guys, sandwich time. Goodbye. You're an Aquarius. Do you have any traits to attract an Aquarius? I've heard this weird energy. I am an Aquarius. I don't know how to attract an Aquarius. I know that I dated a Scorpio, and it was like fucking crazy. I want to know more. I don't care, movie. Anyways, guys, take care. Goodbye.